I just feel like I am going to be one of those guys who is 30 and has never had a girlfriend. I am good looking, just shy. I am 19. Story 1. I want to say 12 because I asked my girl best friend in elementary school to be my girlfriend in first year of high school. But she died from health complications that year. I still get sad thinking about it. We would probably be married by now, 14 years later. Story 2. Never. I am 50 now and gave up looking a few years ago. Women my age want maturity and life experience, which I do not have. I never had kids or a partner, so we have nothing in common. I have had scammers and fakes take advantage of me in the past, which just convinced me that the only people who like me are after something. It is sad and depressing when I stop and think about it, so I just do not think about it. Hope you find your person. Story 3. Didn't have my first until I was 25. That relationship lasted 6 months, and I didn't find another partner for 3 years. According to many men on Reddit, I should be cooked, but I'm not. My current partner is wonderful, and I'm also dating others with her knowledge and support. I'm honestly getting more interest from women now than I was when I was younger and single. Romantic history isn't linear for many people. You could have years of being single and then suddenly you've got the right one. You'll be okay. Story 4. You are 19. Good-looking guy. It's coming. Start talking to women casually as friends in low-key situations. Practice it. Don't put the pressure on yourself to go find a girlfriend. Story 5. I have been having sex since I was 13, but the first time someone wanted to be romantically involved and not just for sex was when I was 29, which lasted 2 weeks. My ex-girlfriend and I had a 1.5-year relationship. Then she broke up, got married after 6 months, and committed suicide in 2020. I'm now 37 and have decided to date again this year. Wish me luck, everyone. Story 6. Hey, I got my girlfriend at 24. I found her on Hinge. Just be honest about yourself and what you want, and steer clear of hookup apps if you want an actual partner. We've been together for a while now and plan on marrying. Story 7. 14 was my first girlfriend. Lasted just over a month. Then another girl for 6 months. Then on and off for a while with someone, and then at 19 I met my wife and we have been together coming up to 11 years. Story 8. I was a late bloomer who lost my virginity in my early 20s and managed to have a few flings in my early to mid-20s. But I did not have an official girlfriend until I was 26. Story 9. 16 was my first. Lasted a couple of months before she ghosted me. The second one was in college when I was 19 and lasted a year before I ended the relationship. Another was when I was 21, and it was for 2 months before I broke up with her for cheating, amongst other issues. My current relationship I got into when I was 21, and I'm still with her and I'm 29. We're engaged after having dated and lived with each other for 5 years, and we'll be married next year. Story 10. I had a girlfriend at 13. I held her hand once and never kissed her. We dated for a week. 0 real dates. My first real girlfriend I got at 17. 35 years later and I'm still with her. Story 11. This may sound corny, but there really is someone for everyone. You will find someone, the person who is looking for you. Give it time, and if you have self-improvement to do, this is the time. Go to the gym, read more, walk more, whatever. You need to love yourself before you want someone else to. Girls find confidence attractive. Not showing off, but confidence in who you are. Story 12. Work on initiating conversations and stepping outside your comfort zone. Every day, socially challenge yourself. Begin slow. Just smile at one new person today. Say good morning. Progressively build up each day until you ask 100 women out. This will take time. No pressure. Work on your physical and mental health each day and have a steady job alongside this. Be clean and build that inner confidence. You can do it. Story 13. 14. Stayed together 10 years. She left me for another guy in 1994. I took it very badly and never really recovered, and I've not had a really serious relationship since. I wish I had met someone else to really put this first relationship and first broken heart out of my mind completely, but that hasn't happened. She was the most beautiful, wonderful girl I've ever met and the only girl who has ever felt the same way about me. Story 14. For me, I could not have been more than 8. I had a girlfriend for the winter, and then she moved to another state. That summer, I got another girlfriend. I had a girlfriend for most of my growing up. Up through 15, I had girlfriends right about my age. At 16, I started dating women older than me. I dated a few who were 19 and 20 and met my wife right before I turned 17. Been with her ever since. Story 15. Well, if it bothers you, then you are at the right age to do something about it. Stop waiting for it to happen. Sign up for a dance school today. Commit for a year. Story 16. Before 18 or so, I really had no experience with dating. I am good looking, just shy. If this is true, try your hand at online dating. Your looks will mask your lack of social skills long enough to go on some dates and get more comfortable expressing your interest. Story 17. I got one for a couple of months at 14. But I promise you that there is no big change that occurs if you get a girlfriend for a little bit. Also, I know it may not feel like it right now, but 19 is so young. Relationships before that age are hardly ever anything significant. You haven't even reached the prime of your life, I would say. Don't mope about not having a girlfriend and put yourself out there. Story 18. If you're attractive like you say, then it's probably just that confidence you mentioned. Being too shy can push away women who might take your shyness as just being uninterested, or they might just be attracted to confidence. If getting a girlfriend is very important, your best bet is to learn to get out and meet people. Story 19. Man, you're good, you're young, dude. Whether through dating apps or out in the wild through mutual hobbies. Since you're shy, you'll meet someone, and it's all about trial and error. Story 20. For my first online relationship, for my first actual in-person relationship, and for my first serious relationship where I lost my virginity and actually brought her around my family and stuff. Story 21. I met her on a forum, and a friend of mine introduced us. She was a lot older than me. The relationship lasted for about half a year. She lived across the country. I was shy but good-looking. Times were a lot different back then. I was single for quite a time. My dating life opened up again later when I moved to a bigger city at around 25. Once I found out I had more confidence, I could be with any girl that liked me on Tinder. I met my partner, with whom I have a daughter, at 33 on Tinder. We have been together for 2 years. She was waiting for me in the queue of liked girls, and I just told myself, I'll message all of those queue girls, and if there's no luck, I'll just delete everything and be single forever. My date with her was one of the best ones I ever had. Expectations and assumptions are the mother of all mess-ups. Story 22. My first Jean, I was in grade 2, she was in grade 4 and lived next door. I barely remember anyone from primary school as we moved around a lot when I was young, but I still remember her. I hope she's doing well. Story 23. My first girlfriend was when I was 16, and she was 17. The entire year we were together was a hellish nightmare. I'm headed to the latter half of my 20s, and I'm still working on some problems that relationship burdened me with. The right one will come along. It happens when you're not looking for one. Story 24. I would not worry about it. Getting a girlfriend because you do not wish to be alone is risky business. I had mine at 21, but she was a cheater. Took a while, but I found a better one at 23 while traveling. You have to expand your radar and meet lots of women to get a good view of who actually matches you. Most importantly, decline all who feel like a transaction. She has to bring the same amount into the relationship, and sex does not count. If it is something she provides in exchange for you buying dinners and gifts, a brothel might be cheaper. Story 25. There are worse things. I had my first proper relationship at 32. I had a few near misses and less serious connections before, but nothing really before my 20s. Story 26. 20 years old and still didn't have a girlfriend. I am ugly, probably autistic, and have anxiety. My desires to have a girlfriend are non-existent by now. I'm just going to focus on studying and video games. Story 27. I'm 24 here. Never had a girlfriend. Living in absolute bliss and peace. Loving life. I hooked up with a girl I work with at a work Christmas party. and my work colleagues will never let me live it down. I found out she lied about her age. She told me she was 27 that night, but I found out she's 30. This doesn't bother me, and I actually prefer that, but I am too young to date. Apparently, I'm not too young for her to tell me 3 separate times she wants to be with me. Oh well, it's no longer peaceful as my colleagues keep making comments, and I'm still asked who I hooked up with a month later. I guess alcohol is called liquid courage for a reason. Story 28. First was in year 5 to 7 with Gemma, then years 8 to 10 with Maddie, then years 11 to 12 with just my sock. Then first year out of high school until today with my wife. Obviously, it didn't start as wife, but that's where it went. Story 29. I thought I had my first girlfriend when I reached 29, but she wasn't dating me seriously and broke my heart. The first proper relationship I had was with my wife, whom I met at age 34. Story 30. I went on a couple of dates with a girl at the age of 15, but I can't count her as a girlfriend. I had my first relationship at 22. It was kind of a train wreck. Then I met my now wife at 24. Story 31. I mean, I like guys, so never. I think my first actual relationship was when I was 20 or 21. Some little stuff prior didn't really hold any weight. You will meet your person, man. Feeling alone sucks, going through that myself. But just put your best self forward and find someone who is right for you. Story 32. 17 for a fling type of thing. 19 was when I met my official girlfriend now. But we weren't official until I was 20, although neither of us were seeing other people during our dating phase. Story 33. 15, and according to her, because she was tired of me being so dense, she made the first move. We drifted apart after 5 years of dating, but we are still good friends now. Story 34. Ain't good looking but get by from being funny, and women feel secure around me because I'm a giant. From age 17 until 26 and before COVID-19 happened, I'd have 1 or 2 girlfriends a year, but none lasted more than 2 months, just never felt right. But now at 29, I finally have a girlfriend who I am madly in love with, and I do see us going the distance. We've been together 4 months now, but she's been my best friend for 10 years, so we already know every detail about each other. The response from all our friends and family has been, about time, or, I thought you were already together. Just a coincidence, but every guy I know has ended up in their serious relationship between 25 and 30, and before that, it's the dating mess of failed relationships. It's really nothing to worry about. Things happen and you just end up meeting people. Stuff works out that way, and when you're not expecting it, you end up with a girlfriend. The more you worry and dig your head into a pit, the more you'll bring yourself down. Story 35. First girlfriend at 21. First serious relationship at 22 and still going 3 years later. Met first girlfriend through work. It didn't work out because we were just too different. Met my current girlfriend through my friend group. Story 36. I have a best friend who started dating from 8 years ago and now has almost 6 to 10 relationships, even more if you count make-out partners too. He has a skeptical and cynical view on whether he'll find someone he considers worthy or not. I had a 5 to 6 month long-distance relationship as my first one, which was 6 years ago, and I'm 26 now, actively making an effort to avoid being in another relationship until I'm ready. Story 37. 17, dated 2 years. Then she broke up with me. Dated around for a bit, then got another at 20, and we've been together since. 3 years and some change. I might be scared to be alone though, which isn't the best thing. The quality of my partner contributes a lot to my self-esteem. I'm working on it though. Like others have said, being confident and having good self-esteem by yourself with yourself is very important. Story 38. I had my first one in kindergarten, but I know that doesn't count, and then my second in grade 8, and my first serious one when I was 19. Now we have been on and off for years. I'm 24. I need to get a grip on my life and figure out what I'm doing with her right now. Story 39. If we're talking about a legitimate girlfriend, like seeing each other for months, that kind of thing didn't happen to me until I was 21. Your time will come, trust me. Don't rush. Take the time to get to know the right person. I have faith in you, buddy. Story 40. I've had girlfriends since I was 6 years old. I have been in relationships far more over my entire life as a 39-year-old male than not. If we are talking about what I would consider a proper relationship, it was when I was 18. It lasted for almost 2 years. Story 41. First girlfriend was 16, and that felt late at the time. Of course, we were idiots, and I didn't know what to do around women, so it didn't last long. Then a couple of dates, but nothing serious until age 19. Story 42. Well, I had my first girlfriend when I was 17. It lasted for a couple of months, and I ended it. Things were moving too fast, and the new situation was too much for my teenage mind. Then again at 22, another couple of months, but I was really into it, while she was not ready for a real commitment, which was what I wanted at the time. Then at 23, I met my now wife. I'm now 28. A couple of silly flings and friends with benefit situations here and there, but that's it. As a teen, I thought I might never meet anybody or have a girlfriend. I've always been a little on the heavier side and was bullied a lot. So my self-image was in the dumpster as a teen, but now I'm married and happier than ever. It already says a lot to me that you can even say you're good looking about yourself. Keep your chin up. It will happen. Story 43. I had a lot of inappropriately touching cousins growing up, so I had my first girlfriend at probably 13. I had a really messed up relationship when I was 14, but then dated a girl from 16 until I was 21. I broke up with the last girl for mental health issues, because having a lot of inappropriately touching cousins and all the other bad things I had to endure growing up messes up your boundaries and barriers.